welcome to quite a special HJBC broadcast. This is a live replay of Spec-5 World Tour Season 14, Round 3 from Sebring. I've not seen it yet. Devin's not seen it yet. It's live to us, damn it. And we're excited to see how the Spec-5 World Tour racing plays out at one of North America's most famous, most exciting, most beloved circuit racing tracks. So David Haynes here with Devin Peters and Michael Derby on HJBC. That's what you'd expect from a beautiful Florida evening, I think, Devin, as far as the track temperatures go.
If I was a time traveler, I would go to Sebring International last Thursday for the Spec-5 MX Cup race.
If I was a time traveler, I'd go to Sebring International Raceway for the USA Grand Prix of 1959 to see Sir Jack Brabham become the first Australian World Drivers' Champion.
Yeah, they're pretty much the same thing.
Or I'd go back to 1942 and hijack a flying fortress.
Well, you were much more prepared for that statement than I was. But anyway, we're watching what appears to be the outlap here for Mitchell Peak.
Yep, qualifying has just kicked off. And so quite a significant outlap around here at Sebring. It's not quite as long as Bathurst, but it's about 5.5 kilometers or so, give or take, around Sebring. Quite a lap distance for these MX-5s.
Yeah.
My fastest lap of Sebring is still a 3-minute something. So plenty of racetrack, plenty of it that hasn't been resealed since they were landing bombers on training runs here in World War II.
True that. And we're gonna get a lot of Mitchell Peak coverage here tonight during qualifying, because as the guy who saved the replay, he is the only guy whose qualifying we'll get to see. So shout out to Mitchell Peak for providing us this replay, and we'll follow along. We'll get the very fully interactive experience here from Mr. Peak.
Yes. If it was a replay provided by someone who had joined the session as a spectator, not a driver, we would have a bit more to go off in qualifying, wouldn't we? Oh, genius. Very, very good promotion and branding from Mitchell Peak. Bit of weaving on the back straight there as he gets ready to go into his first flying lap here, and then right onto the racing line. It's the bumps of Sunset Bend to get the first of 4 flying laps underway.
Yeah, this is definitely a track that's on my bucket list, and I'm surprised that even though they paved over the grassy section on the exit of Sunset Bend there, that it's still got a hump on the outside of the track where the grass used to be. Anyways.
Turn 1 always deceptive. There's so much width in the middle of a corner, and then it narrows up on the exit, and you can see by the lack of grass on the far side of the exit curb how many people misjudge that at turn 1. And then this section here past the illuminated palm trees, and underneath where a new bridge has gone.
Yeah, it looks like a pretty clean lap. Purple sectors, as far as I can tell.
Yes, fastest of all of the people that we've got a replay of for qualifying. The hotel turn where the swimming pool is also illuminated. Everything's lit up around here. You've got the reflectors around the track as well, and that was tidy enough through there. A couple of places around here where, for qualifying at least, the track limits are a little bit of a concern, more so than some other tracks. That's one of them there at turn 7, and then the other one is how the track limits get enforced at Le Mans corner as you come onto the back straight. Also got to look out for that further around the qualifying lap.
Deceptively big grid out here today. 34 cars registered from what I can tell, but when I opened the results screen, it had a lot of results on it, so I didn't want to look too closely at them, but I did count 34 cars on the counter.
So no one's completed a lap yet. It seems to think that Simon Bramley's on top at the moment, and Mitchell Peak is 10th. That might be a holdover from practice times before we get any qualifying times in the session. 1 corner left on the first lap here, and it's a long wait down the back straight here. Turns it in shallow, brakes on the diagonal, gets to an apex, and then looks to track out on the exit, not only finishing lap 1, but also very, very important to how you start lap 2. Cold track, you think the tyres are going to keep on giving all the way through 4 consecutive flying laps. That's your hope.
Yeah, you'd think so with these sticky race compound tires that they got on these MX-5 Cup cars. But it's also a pretty cool night, so that's going to help it out as well. I'm thinking we'll see 4 fast ones, and we might even see them get faster with the temperature building.
BF Goodrich tyres, which wink wink nudge nudge are basically Michelin's. It's the same company.
And Mitchell showing that he knows his way around this track. History of racing in Gran Turismo. Of course, this track's featured there. Let's go through what we know about Mitchell Peak here. I got Mitchell Peak, esports sim racer, or esport racer team. He's good friends with most folks, but would consider Mike Dam and Camden Hibbett to be his biggest rivals. And he says the MX-5 Cup car is the best car on the service. The right answer, of course. And spirit animal, David Haynes, any guesses?
Well, is it a moose or a beaver, or is it even one of those angry gooses you've got?
Nope, you'd be wrong with all those answers. He is a lion. What for how he pounces on opportunities.
Okay. Loves the taste of gazelle. Yum, yum, yum.
Nah, he didn't put that on the forum, so I can't confirm or deny.
Okay. 27 as a lap time on the dash. And it's about to change at the end of this one, crossing the line, and it's a slightly faster 227.
Yeah, right down to 227.003. It's a quick lap, but it's not as fast as what the qualifying seems to indicate was going on. Or sorry, the practice seems to indicate was going on at the top. So I have a feeling that he's probably in the middle of the pack right now.
They've got some analog palm trees going on around here as well, not just LED party camping ones.
Is it? Tell me what you know. I've heard that this place is a big party during the 12-hour or the back-to-backs. Is this true? Can you verify? Were you here for that?
Even on the Champ Car weekend, we someone had a karaoke machine under the awning of their RV, and was all going off. It was good fun. And we're not far from Haines City, so that's the reason to party.
Wonder if the color scheme's inspired by the lion. Seems plausible to me. He's got the orange and the black and the white,
I need a bit more gold. It's mostly good sectors the way around this lap, though. Although a couple tenths were lost at Tower Turn, where he's just been. This is another one of the parts of the track where there's so much paved space, but you got to stay on the inside of the lines and the curbs through there, and it all looks good this time around. But you do have to exercise some caution.
Thing does look really, really planted out there right now, must be said. He doesn't got those red Bolero upgrades. He's got just the regular old MX-5 ones, and that car seems to be handling pretty well for him.
I was like, what's a red Bolero? I picked up. What's this lap? Number 3, and definitely going to have time in the session to get all 4 laps completed. Slower cars
Ooh,
to 26.4. Found
7/10.
Yeah, and probably lost a couple actually in the middle of this lap. So I think there's on an optimal a lot more out there.
Mm-hmm. Now, for those of you wondering, Haynes and I both downloaded the replay, haven't opened it, and then sat and counted down with our producer in the back here before we went live and clicked the play button all at the same time. So we are seeing this in real time for the first time as this all goes down.
Yeah, we've been cryogenically frozen deep underground and thawed just in time for this broadcast.
Yeah. And we don't get the overlay or anything like that, so we're just looking at our own simulators locally for this kind of thing.
That definitely looks like Sebring.
Yeah, we are at the correct track.
It always looks like a gator's mouth to me. I'm seeing a bit of gator.
Yeah, it's got the eyeball there, a tower. And this is the deep kind of analysis that people really like to get out of us.
Absolutely, that or stiletto, perhaps.
Yeah, maybe it's both.
Monza and Imola also managed to both look like shoes, so there's form to it. Some of the great race tracks around the world, and hey, Watkins Glen definitely got a boot. So I reckon if Watkins Glen can have a boot, then Sebring can have a stiletto. This is the final lap of qualifying for the only driver that we're able to watch in qualifying. Mitchell Peak comes through Sunset Bend, where the sun has definitely already set. Local times almost 10 p.m. into the night at Sebring, straight to the checkered flag. Hanging off the limiter some too.
Ooh.
For a little bit of an improvement, just an extra tenth or so.
That's pretty good. So I'm gonna now carefully move my hand to expose the qualifying results on my screen. I've opened the results tab, but I'm covering up the results of the race. So from what I can see, it looks to me like we've got Ronnie Coates qualifying first with a 2:25.8. That's a quick one. Camden Hibbett in second, 2:25.7. Mike Dam in third, 2:25.6. And then our very own Mitchell Peak in fourth, with 2:26.231. We've got Ray Lombardi just behind him with the 2:26.3.
This looks right, what we're being shown, because it's got the correct time for Mitchell Peak.
Am I getting this wrong? I got the times all wrong. Oh no.
I'm glad I didn't listen to anything you just said, because I think you might have spoiled it for me.
Oh no.
I think pole is Timon Bramley.
Much more accurate.
Ahead of Rui Coimbra, Mike Zam, Camden Hibbett, Ronnie Coates, Michael Coates, Trevor Roy, Joshua Soto, Simon Foweather, and Mitchell Peak as our top 10 with the red line under their numbers. They are all our pro class drivers, and the pros lock out the top 12 because Geordie Fike and Ray Lombardi are 11th and 12th. Your best open class qualifier is Ian Giebler in 13th there. And you can see those open class guys denoted by both the O and the blue stripe under their position. And you've got Sean Hayes, David Starb, Tom Sanders, Odyssey Adams, Mario Norris. Jose Gonzalez is second there as far as open class drivers are concerned, ahead of Eugenio Palicci in 20th. And then Tom Ayton, Lee Martin, Paulo Coimbra, Josh Olsen, Greg Mack, Charles Vaccaro, Brian Chabelski, Andy Kosick, Zeus Dalston, Orlando Harrell in 30th, and then Ethan Stanley, Joel Singleton, David Tamira, and Andrew Gilliland. That's 34 MX5 Cup Car Spec-5 World Tour at Sebring. As we went through that, you might have noticed some different color driver numbers. Those are our league supporters, and they got some juicy little benefits like voting twice on the track, voting selection and all that kind of stuff.
Now, update. I did not go back and verify if that was sorted by practice or race. So even if I could remember what I said, I still haven't successfully spoiled anything.
That's good. Good to know. So they're lining up on the start-finish line for their full formation lap of Sebring, a 45-minute race ahead of us here, where everyone is going to need to make one pit stop at some point. And pace car speed around here, 60 miles an hour. I did a sighting session around here in my rental road car. It was 35 miles an hour. So the pace car's got a little bit on that Mustang convertible.
Think they put enough fuel in the pace car?
Oh, you hope so. To do 60 mile an hour, I'm sure they did.
Oh man, this is gonna be super spicy. I'm really excited to see 34 cars here at Sebring. This track always provides some fun. So what's the situation pro and open class? It looks like Ian Giebler has continued his string of qualifying victories in open class. Currently, whereabouts? On my JRT, it says, please wait for the cars to start rolling, is what it says. What does it say on yours?
About the same thing.
Okay, just making sure
I think when they cross the start-finish line for the beginning of the race, it'll feed me some slightly more useful information about what's going on and where they stand.
Yeah, that does sound plausible. I was just clicking through the field, seeing if I could find. But it looks like Giebler's the first one, as far as I can tell.
So we're next to part of the runways that still form an active airport, despite one of them being sort of commandeered for the start-finish straight of this racetrack. Not many other racetracks, I think, you can park your private jet closer to the paddock. At Circuit Paul Ricard, there's a runway next door, but you can't taxi on up to the back of the paddock. At Le Mans, again, airport next door, can't taxi your jet up to the back of the paddock.
At Gimli, they have planes taken off next to us when we race. Of course, no one knows where Gimli is. But
no, everyone knows where Gimli is.
Side of the Gimli glider.
Exactly. And they landed on the drag strip. So they got them landing on the track there sometimes.
The drag strip is also the front straight of the racetrack. It's one of those deals.
Yeah, they knocked down some stuff.
Timing lights and stuff like that. Yeah.
A couple Christmas trees.
So further investigation has revealed that Jose Gonzalez is second in open, Paulo Coimbras third, Lee Martin's fourth, Greg Max fifth, Josh Olson sixth. So this is my high-tech strategy for solving this.
Now, if we put our time-traveling hats on, I'm not sure what a time-traveling hat looks like. Last round was Mosport.
Yes.
Recall relatively cool track temperatures there. A full, half dozen or more of drivers who tried to change left-hand side tyres in their pit stop encountered quite some problems with it. Not a good strategy at all. Even some of our most talented drivers were basically driving on ice for a lap or so, and it just didn't work at all. Similar here, I suspect, in the cold temperatures.
Yeah, I think that'd be the case. Yeah, we saw a few races ended early by cold tires at the last round, so I mean, to me, that's top of mind. Camden Hibbett put 2 tires on the grass, stuffed it into the wall. I remember that. What else do I got in terms of storylines? I think, was Timon the winner of that one? Scared to open the points up.
Well, shortly we'll be distracted by the sound of all of them going racing at Sebring for round 3 of the Spec-5 World Tour. The pace car is in. Simon Bramley is waiting for the green flag on the front stretch at Sebring International Raceway, and suddenly my timing screen also roars into life. We're ready to go for 45 minutes.
Hey, look at all those cars.
Look at all of them, 3, 4 wide, bit of contact on the inside.
Spicy meatballs. That's Jordy Fike involved with what appears to be a bumper car session that has broken up into turn number 1.
Coimbra is also dropping back.
Greg Mack, Andy Cossack was in there. Bunch of guys.
Bramley leads from Rory Coimbra. Camden Hibbett's come up into 3rd. Michael Coates has got ahead of Ronnie Coates as they come through the super sweeping turn 6 down towards turn 7, the hotel turn. One of the biggest braking zones on the lap.
Get David Staub having some more issues in 5, but he's carrying on.
Coimbra is now closing back up on the race lead. Looks like it's Trevor Roy who was side by side with Ronnie Coates back behind this group. And now Mitchell Peak under some pressure from Ronnie Coates as well. Approaching tower turn here, where you get the most camber of anywhere else on the racetrack. You tip it in, and believe me, it really does just grip there, and you're like, okay, I can go a bit faster next up, and go a bit faster next lap, until eventually you get tempted into carrying way too much speed. And again, another place where drivers frequently dig up the grass and the dirt on the far side of the curbs. Can't cut the course too much there. That can get you in trouble.
Mm-hmm. Well, it looks like most of the top, what was this, like 14 or so, are probably sticking together pretty well at this point. Oh, and we got one off in the dirt. That's Ronnie Coates taking the long way on the exit.
Coimbra's having a weave in 2nd place there. He's behind Bramley as the leader, but a bit more happening from sort of 3rd, 4th, 5th. Soto's down the inside of Michael Coates through Sunset Bend. There are multiple lines because there are all sorts of different bumps. You can find traction in some weird places, but I think the inside has worked out for Soto, and all of them at the high speeds of Sebring, just trying to follow the slipstream of the car in front. Bramley leads them to driver's right very, very early, and all of your top 6 want to follow him.
Yeah, they're 3 wide in turn 1 still. I was just watching Ray Lombardi go through there with Ronnie Coates and Trevor Roy as well. A little bit further back for what looks like the back end of the top 10 right now. Kind of 2 groups splitting up here, though. We got Peak with the top 7, and then it looks like there's another group that's going from about 8th through 12th.
Once more to turn 7, Bramley hoping the drivers behind him fight a little more. Mike Dam goes clear around the outside of Rui Coimbra and up into 2nd. Coimbra, I think, rolled out of that one a little early and dropped back into 3rd place. Soto looks like he's up into 4th here. He made that move in Sunset Bend last lap. Oh, but now he's ahead of Hibbett as well. Okay. Couple of moves made from Soto. Florida native. You got any great facts about him? What's his spirit animal and how many teeth does it have?
I'll get back to you on that one, but we'll keep on keep on watching for now. Does look like Coimbra is dropping back, though. I don't know if it's just the one lap pace was really strong and he's struggling a bit now in traffic. But it does seem like Soto's closing up on him while Dam's kind of driving away for Timon ahead. Using up all of the track on the exit now.
Top 7 cars, away they go, up to 120 miles an hour or so. And then you almost start turning into Sunset Bend before you start braking for it. You can carry quite a lot of speed through.
Especially in cars like these, you know, it's just so much more grip than there is power. Looks like we might get some too wide action here. We'll see. Mike Dam has a run, but he lifts out of it. So our top 5, 6 are trying to run away, not trying to fight.
Joshua Soto kissed the concrete on the inside there in turn 1, because now he's under pressure again from Camden Hibbert, who will try to sneak through into 4th. They're still side by side, clambering all over the curbs in this section.
Yeah, that was definitely some contact. Mario Norris also did himself a pretty big smack there on the inside as he runs wide on the exit of the Gurney Bend there, or as they head on to Gurney Bend.
Sean Hayes here behind Mario Norris, taps the brakes a little bit. Norris gets in really hot there. Big slide that he's lucky to hold on to.
That was him as he was drifting the corner. I was doing an impression.
Wouldn't it be more like, wahoo?
Yeah, something along those lines. It's also surprisingly distracting. Oh, when the guy you're racing with is appearing and disappearing, that's, well, I couldn't tell you who because he keeps on disappearing.
Sean Hayes, but you always got to ask. It looks, we can see cars still behind him. So I think that is a Sean Hayes drama. There's a possibility that at some point we want to look at some cars that are quite a distance from where Mitchell Peak is, and we struggle to pick them up.
We'll be okay. I hope. It does look like we've lost a few cars. Going by my timing screen, I think Tom Athon's a lap down, Eugenio Polici lap down, Simon Foweather, David Tamira, Ethan Stanley are a lap down. Or 2 laps down already. So it does look like that calamity in the first turn collected a few more cars than was immediately apparent.
Bramley from Dam, from Rory Coimbra. Joshua Soto qualified 7th, racing up into 4th. It's gone back and forth with Camden Hibbert a couple of times. Coates and Peak, the car behind. Tell you what, at night with the headlights, flashing cars are a lot more annoying than they are during the day. That's that much for sure.
Yeah, absolutely.
Look for the race lead. He's not. He drops back, but he wants Bramley to know he's there.
Camden was giving Soto a little push as well.
Gives you a nice little read out of the last lap and of the speed on board. And up through the gears, Mike Dam closing in on the race lead. Past 100 miles an hour underneath the bridge towards the hotel turn. He's going to get it. Mike Dam's going to get the race lead. Turning in on quite a narrow line, but so long as you square off the exit and get traction, I think a corner that tight, the inside line doesn't matter as much as it does to some other corners where it really compromises your flow through the middle of the corner. Mike Dam to the race lead. Any update on the spirit animals, Devon?
I completely forgot to look. We'll get it the third time.
Righto. So on this replay, it doesn't say their club next to their name that I'm used to, but we'll have to remember Dan Canadian, Bramley Australian, Rui Coimbra New York via way of Brazil? Something? Joshua Soto, Floridian for sure. Kevin Hibbert's... Is he also an Ohioan? A Buckeye?
Update on the on Soto's favorite animal.
Yep.
Spirit animal. He doesn't have one because he didn't complete the driver survey. This is your friendly reminder, drivers, to complete the driver survey. So we got lots of fun things to fill the air with.
He's going for third, though, on the inside to Sunset Bend, and then he's going to move across.
Ooh.
Frana Coimbra. And so he gets that third place as he would have wanted it.
That looked like a deck of cards just kind of getting shuffled together as they all spread out onto their separate lines and then reconvened on the exit onto the same line.
I think people do, where they split the deck in half and then they fan them back together.
Yeah, exactly that. That's exactly what was going on.
Turn one, so bumpy, so fast, so loaded. I know some cars don't actually brake or downshift for turn one. You just sort of you lift a little bit of throttle, you turn in, and you try to hold on. Depending on the car, depending on your grip, depending on your power. Top 7 really starting to get away from the rest. Ronnie Coates leads that little group in 8th, and we know he can be really quick in his day, but he's got some work to do if he's going to catch the leading group. With Ray Lombardi, Trevor Roy behind him for completing our top 10. Here's Camden Hibbert being the next to try to line up on bodying and bullying Rui Coimbra.
Ooh. Doing a good job of it. He's going to have the inside going into the stiletto, and he's got a push from Mitchell Peak, from Michael Coates too.
Almost done. Now it's done.
Yeah, real clean move.
Sean Hayes has since gotten ahead of Mario Norris in 11th and 12th. Lee Martin's the open class leader at the moment in 13th place, with Odyssey Adams Jr., a pro driver, just behind him, but second in the open class. Josh Olson also in the same train there. Ooh. And Jose Gonzalez is third of the open drivers. Olson
looked very uncomfortable, and Brian Schabelsky behind actually got really out of shape as they went through Tower. Andrew Gilliland takes the spot away from him and is bringing himself back into contention.
Yeah, a couple more open class drivers here with Gonzalez and then Gilliland. And Trabelski and Andy Kosick. Andy Kosick, certified Buckeye.
Mm-hmm. They're pretty comfortable there.
Never missing an opportunity to try to promote the state and tell other people they should race there.
Hey, when I'm sympathetic to living in a place with not a lot of things, but a few racetracks. Josh Olson getting a little bit of a run here on Odyssey into turn 1. He decides to brake pretty early and let it go. But we are too wide behind him. That's Brian Schabelsky trying the outside line on Andrew Gilliland. Gilliland scrapes the inside wall, throwing up some sparks.
Therefore, Andy Kosick gets a little bit of a run at him, but drops in behind. And then behind Kosick's Tom Sanders and Greg Mack. Greg Mack's round the outside and a little bit into the dirt. Still quicker than Tom Sanders by the look of it, though. And Zeus Dalston just behind that.
Zeus Dalston's Canadian. I'll tell you that one.
And shares my my love of Korean food based on every time we've looked at.
Contact there between Greg Mack and Tom Sanders. I don't think it was malicious, but the outcome might be. That's not good news for our friend there. And now Tom Saunders is giving the spot back to Zeus. I'm not sure if that's damage. It does look a little bit like damage. Nope, just honor. Tom is back on the throttle now as he's let Greg Mack by.
can't see who's got a meatball flag in this session because they're all being shown a checkered flag already in this session. Oh, it's slightly different. It's just a little different. Mike
That is
Dan
good.
leads Joshua Soto, Simon Bramley, Camden Hibbert, Rory Coimbra, Michael Coates, Mitchell Peake. Top 7 down that back straight. Still, Ronnie Coates tries he might, not able to close in on the top 7. In fact, if anything, he's a little further away from catching the coattails of this train.
Don't worry, everyone. I gave Haynes the glare for coattails.
It's fine. It actually makes sense.
Too
Here's
wide
Gogo
into the
looking
first
for a
round.
race lead. And Camden Hibbert also looks like he might try to steal a spot away, and he does. So a couple changes up front here with 15 of 45 minutes of racing completed. Spec-5 World Tour from Sebring, round 3 of season 14.
Does seem a little bit like no one in the front group wants to just run away with it yet. There's a little bit of jockeying for position, but it's all being done pretty friendly at this point. No one's losing any real time, even as they're battling too wide into turn 1. Carrying on single file. Have to go deeper in the pack if you want to see some feisty battling. See what I can dig up for you.
So any more spirit animals from our top 7, or you've gone through all of it?
Let's see what I can pull up for you.
Is the wording spirit animal or favorite animal?
Spirit animal.
Okay. That gives us more insight, into a person's psyche.
Mm-hmm. Let's see what we got.
Ooh, we've got a little bit of contact between 3rd and 4th. Bramley just runs up the back of Camden Hibbert coming into this section. And probably doesn't get the line he was hoping onto the back straight either. Could then be vulnerable to Rory Coimbra, Michael Coates, or Mitchell Peake again. Leaders again through turn 1. Joshua Soto ahead of Mike Dam, Camden Hibbert, Simon Bramley shuffled back into 4th after leading a couple of laps for a while there. Coimbra, Michael Coates, Mitchell Peake. The efforts of Ronnie Coates to try to catch these leaders have he's caught them another half a second on this lap.
Yeah, he's having to run really, really clean laps to try and make it up while the guys ahead kind of have all that draft to cover up for their mistakes. So always kind of an uncomfortable position to be in. But over the last few laps, he's gaining on the back half of the pack, that's for sure. Not a ton of spirit animals in the top 5. I can tell you that Mike Down's spirit animal is axolotl, but just because he wanted me to have to say that on air, challenging me. Bring it. And then I thought that it's unclear to me which Mike this is, but Mike, which could definitely be Michael Coates. You never know. Mike says African swallow is his spirit animal because that was the fastest time warp on SimCity 2000, which is pretty good.
Okay, yeah, all right. Pay that.
Keep paying those off as we go through. 26 minutes to go by my timer as they get onto the back straight once again.
Now, Mario Norris pitted, but I don't have the exact times for it. But other than that, not many pit stops yet out of the leading gang. Of course, it's a very high average speed circuit, therefore very, very much more important to be part of the pack. Soto leading him out of Sunset Bend. Oh no, we got to take it from the lead group here. Yeah, Bramley's in.
Timmons going early. And when he's gone into the pits, he's of course disappeared from our screen. So we'll see. We'll have to see where he comes out and how that all pans out. I think we are rapidly becoming experts in all of the ups and downs of doing a broadcast this way. But it does make things a little bit spicier, even tougher than usual to tell who's going to be ahead after the stops. Coates has gone and put in another quick one last time by a 25.0 flat. So he's managed to take nearly 5/10 out of the front of the group. I got to think there's maybe some fuel saving going on up there to help him out, especially judging by the way that Mike Dam's kind of taking a look on Josh Soto.
Yeah, almost the fastest lap of the race, and definitely the fastest lap without a slipstream just there for Ronnie Coates. Now 7th place after Ramley's pit stop. Hey, but you know what we will get information about? Anyone who pits on the same lap that Mitchell Peak pits. Well, he's in the pit lane. It's going to render cars that are in the pit lane.
Well, here's hoping he goes with the majority.
Everyone gets wide in Tower Bend. All of them missed the apex, and Mike Dam went the furthest wide. And therefore, Camden Hibbert goes around the outside of him. Rui Coimbra's thinking about it, doesn't quite. So do any of them react to what Bramley did, or do they think he's made a potentially foolish mistake bidding when he did?
We'll have to say, see, speaking of foolish mistakes, I've just gone and gone back for a replay. Don't worry, I've rejoined the broadcast, but it's old habits die hard, you know. Michael Coates getting a decent run, but he will see in his rearview mirror that Mitchell Peak is taking a pit stop all by his lonesome.
I think Ray Lombardi's come in behind him, so we know what's happening in the pit lane with
Tom
Mitchell Peak
Athons
and Ray Lombardi.
As I say, Tom Athon's in there already. Athon having a decent race.
You see Adams in. It's also miraculous that we know what's happening on track while Mitchell Peak is in pit lane. That's good.
I think you've jinxed it, though. We'll have to see how this goes.
What? How far in the future are you? That's not...
I don't know. We'll see. I have worries. That's all. Concerns. We'll get to the far side of the track. It'll be like my radios every time I'm on the far side of the track. Just barely working.
Ronnie Coates is oh so close to getting up to this leading group. Another good lap last time. Gap between himself and the next car for position, he is down sort of 1.3, 1.4 seconds. So he only needs to find a couple of tenths. Painstakingly almost there.
Yeah, he's in that 1.3, 1.4 window, so you think he'll get the slipstream pretty quick here.
Yep, we just crossed the halfway point, so there's 21 minutes left in the race. Of course, 22:30 is the halfway point of a 45-minute race. So during this lap, they've crossed that line. Camden Hibbert closes up on Joshua Soto and elects to provide the bump down the back straight towards Sunset Bend.
And I am noticing that Mitchell Peak, after his pit stops, come out in the vicinity of Tim and Bramley. The two of them are a few seconds apart. But if Peak can get caught up here, the two of them might be able to bump draft.
Yeah, you're right. Peak's only about a second behind Bramley.
Does look like he's... Yeah, those a few more on the pit lane.
Yeah, Coates, Hibbett, Soto, Roy, Hayes, I think.
Yeah, Lee Martin and Josh Olson from Open Class hitting as well. That's our current top 2 runners in that class.
So put to you, either Mitchell Peak had a very good pit stop or Timon Bramley had a slightly slow one, because we would expect him to be just a little further ahead than that. Here's some of those drivers who stopped that he should be with coming back out of pit lane.
Ooh, it's going to be a feisty rejoin here.
You can see Hibbett, Soto, Michael Coates all ahead of Bramley by a second or so here.
Yeah, the overcut seems to be the way to go. 8 laps to go on the dial. And Timmins making up ground here. It looks like having the warm tires is maybe a bit of an advantage in terms of overall pace. Whew. Timmin got it all kinds of sideways on the braking zone there, and Josh Soto gets it wrong, leaving the door open for Michael Coates there, who gets a big push from Timmin, but I don't think that he's going to do anything with it as he kind of backs off and defends the inside.
They both break super deep and around the outside. Timon Bramley takes that spot away from Michael Coates. Kevin Hibbett scurrying away from them here, and I'm pretty sure he's the best placed of the cars to have stopped at this point.
Yeah, really showing some good pace at the front. Mike Dam, meanwhile, and Roy Coimbra are going through Sunset Bend. And we'll see if either of them makes the pit stop this time. It does look like they're going to carry on, not running that entry, but Ronnie Coates is going to hit the lane and then disappear. Might actually be a little blessing here for Ray Lombardi, who's come out of the pits with and is closing up the gap, but there's a battle up ahead. Michael Coates is pushing Tim and Bramley past Josh Soto, and the two of them are going to clear Soto on the back straight alone.
Yep, and then Michael Coates says, all right, I've done this work for us, let me go ahead. But holding just a little bit of real estate around the outside. Timon Bramley carries a little more speed onto the front stretch, and they're side by side perfectly as they cross the stripe. Bramley gets his nose back ahead.
And rejoining ahead of them is Ronnie Coates and Camden Hibbett. Proven again that overcut seems to be the way to go.
Yeah, what a lead Camden Hibbett now has over these guys, because Ronnie Coates slots into the gap between them. Hibbett's getting away.
Yeah, he's flying.
Ronnie Coates has been super, super quick, though, in this race.
That's true.
Even his clean air pace has been very, very strong.
Yeah, and you can't write Timon out of any of these scripts so far this year. That's sort of been what we've seen. So it does look like we'll get most of the top 7 and maybe even the top 10 all together here for a battle.
Did you write Bramley going wide at 7 through the dirt and losing 2 spots in your script?
Yeah, sorry, I missed that in the revisions. My bad.
I'm still going to write a little smiley face when I mark yours, though. He got one of them back, though. Michael Coates dropped back in behind and has Mitchell Peak for company now. Oh, he loves a bit of a curb ride. My goodness.
Yeah, that's Got to be aggressive at tower turn. It really is a tough corner with, just gotta hook that curb just right. Oh, big news. Mitchell Peak's just gotten his first X. 1X for going off track.
Oh yeah, we get that as very detailed information from his replays. So we know it. And that's funny because normally as spectators, we know where everyone's incident points are at. But in this session, we only know Mitchell Peaks because Mitchell doesn't know everyone else's. Oh no, I think retroactively he does. Okay, interesting. But he's done very well out of his pit stop to be part of what was the leading group. I believe we've had Coimbra and Dam pit, so they might re-emerge shortly. Looks like Andy Cossack is in, so we've got pit stops out of just about everyone. And yeah, here they are coming back. Mike Dam. And the outside, it's going to get by a handful of cars. Contact up front.
Yeah, that's Soto. He was getting the bump draft from Tim and Bramley going into one, and it was a little bit deep, a little bit late, and they're real close together going in the corner. And in classic Forza Motorsport intro video fashion, Josh Soto gets a push in turn one and spins. I think it was 350Zs in that video, though.
I can't recall it, but Rui Coimbra leads the race.
Yeah, he's got a huge gap.
Just as he came out of pit lane from a pretty good stop, we saw him cede plenty of positions to try to save some fuel.
True. And
just as he come out of pit lane, forgive me, then that group, they all go and make a bunch of contact with each other. He scampers away from Camden Hibbett, from Ronnie Coates and Mike Nam.
This is a very interesting little pit strategy battle we got going on here. I think whoever figured out that staying on track was the way to go is at a big advantage. And I got to think that tires are a factor here because we're seeing a big variance in pace compared to where people were before these pit stops. All these guys that were running 225s are all of a sudden 226s in the middle of that.
And then also with basically all the pit stops done, looks like Lee Martin leading open class from Josh Olsen and Greg Mack at the moment. Greg Mack is in one hell of a battle at the moment. David Starbs around the outside of Andrew Gilliland trying to get down the inside at turn 7. It's all happening behind Sanders, Greg Mack, and with Andy Cossack in this group as well.
Yeah, as I was going back to look for that battle, I saw Eugenio Policio a mile off the track in the tower turn on the entry of it, actually. So not quite sure how he managed to get there, but definitely an interesting route through that corner complex. Luckily for him, replay is not available today, so he won't get shamed on the broadcast, just vocally.
Oh, I think Gilliland's just ended up in the wall.
Ooh.
Got a bad ride of the curb as he was trying to battle with David Starb. Now, this is Starb getting a run at Mack and Sanders, which, of course, are... Sorry, makes me hungry, I'll be honest. We got a Big Mac and a Colonel Sanders.
Yeah, I think we got to make some requests on the livery design department for those two for the next race. But
the requests on the delivery design department.
Stop holding too wide though around the outside. Familiar with the bumps around here from his real world exploits, I'm sure, and doing a pretty good job with them.
So with all of that happening, I think Greg Mack looks a little more comfortable in third in open class at the moment, including Gilliland ending up in the wall. It's up the road from him. Lee Martin's got plenty of clean air as leader of open class, and 6 seconds ahead of Josh Olsen, second in class at the moment. For outright honours, though, it all closes up again after the pit stops. We see this kind of thing happen. Rui Coimbra's lead is underneath 1 second now as Camden Hibbett catches him. Hibbett himself only 1.2 seconds ahead of Ronnie Coates, who we know to be so quick as far as clean air pace goes. Probably the quickest car on track last lap, I think. 225.2 basically for Ronnie Coates.
But as you scan through those times, take a look. Tim and Bramley and Josh Soto running 2:35 last time by. I'm sure impacted slightly by that spin in the first turn, but losing a boatload of time to these guys, I got to think that takes them really out of contention for the win.
And then Mike Dams in the slipstream in 4th. So all of your top 4 closing up now. 10 minutes to go, 5 laps to go, all pit stops completed. And behind them, Michael Coates 5th, Mitchell Peak 6th, Ray Lombardi 7th.
Trevor Roy and Mario Norris have been kind of having a fun battle on the back of the top 10. Now they're fighting over 10th throughout this race. The two of them have been kind of glued together. It's one gets a little bit ahead, and then the other makes a little mistake or sees a mistake. Wow, Trevor Roy almost throwing the car in like he was trying to drift the thing into turn number 1. He even did like the Scandinavian flick, left, right, and left again to get into 1.
Can we look at Andy Cossack really quickly? If we're doing shameless fan service.
Oh, it's busy on the front straight. Greg Mack. Greg Mack.
Outside. Contact. Greg Mack into the door of Andy Cossack. And Tom Sanders, I think, goes through and manages to hold on to a position.
Oh,
Greg Mack
scary
in a
rejoin there.
dangerous spot on the exit of turn 1.
Yeah, that was good timing on checking that out.
That's the last time I'll do any Nostradamus in here. Only 1.4 seconds to cover your whole top 4 now. Look at Mike Dam try to work his way through a little bit of the traffic. I suspect that might be...
Yeah, it's Orlando Harrell in that purple car. Yeah. But yeah, the top 4 have all closed up, and even the guys that seem to be struggling after the pit stop, Mitchell Peak, Ray Lombardi, they're starting to find their pace again and close up a little bit as well.
So here comes Hibbett. Coimbra moves off his line just a little bit. And here comes Ronnie Coates. Here comes Mike Dam. Top 4 closing up once again. They know 8 minutes left, 4 laps left in this race. Dam gets a really good exit off of the final corner as Ronnie Coates ended up wide, probably had to get out of the throttle, almost grazed up against the wall. Hibbett uses the slipstream down the pit straight to get to the inside of turn number 1 on Rui Coimbra, who had such a quick pit stop. You've almost got to wonder about his fuel in this one. Coimbra now drops back into second, so a handful of changes inside of the top 4 as Camden Hibbett gets defensive in the short run towards, it's either turn 2 or 3. Goodness knows how they've numbered it around here. That's got to be 3, because then 4 or 5. We're coming through 6 to turn 7. It's the hotel turn. Everything counts as a turn. They give the turn numbers away for free. Down to 7, where the Advanced Auto Parts billboard actually has a little timing tower on the top of it that displays the car numbers based on who's leading. I suspect that updates when they cross the start-finish line only, though. If it's like the ticker at the tower at Indianapolis, 70... Yeah, it still says 78 leading, which is Rui Coimbra, who's now back into second as Camden Hibbett took the lead away in turn 1.
Charles Vaccaro is just he's flickering, so I wouldn't go to him, but he's having a heck of a moment in Sunset Bend. He's bounced it off the inside wall and disappeared from the track. But up with the lead, 3 laps to go, this time through Tower Turn. And Dam is right up on the back of Roy Coimbra. Coimbra's played the strategy perfectly today, but I really think he's struggling to find the pace that the rest of the top 3 kind of have around him.
He struggles to get the nose to turn in some of these places here. It's leading him a little bit wide, compromising his speed through the corner. Couple car lengths back off Camden Hibbert. Mike Dam might have picked up a slowdown. I think Dam is one of the first drivers we've seen fall victim of cutting the course through that section there, getting too far over the curbs, giving himself a nasty slowdown. Mike Dam drops back into fourth and losing a whole chunk of time here as Camden Hibbert, Rui Coimbra, Ronnie Coates become a 3-car breakaway with 3 laps to go, coming through Sunset Bend to start. 3 laps to go with Sebring.
And sometimes the worst part about getting that slowdown is if you have to enter Sunset with the slowdown and kind of take a weird line on your entry because you're giving it up. And that looks kind of like what Mike Dam had to do that time, but we'll see if the bad lane ahead of him gives him a chance. Oh, and Dam stuffs it into the inside wall on the way through one. I think that was just a scrape or maybe a bit of net code, but he definitely seemed to scrape it off the inside wall. Keep an eye on that car. Yeah, netcode may be what it was.
Fight the urge to go back and look at the replay, Devon. Rui Coimbra closing in again on Hibbert. Coates closing in on the both of them. Underneath 5 minutes to go when they're all nose to tail, and Mike Dam must be driving the wheels off that thing to try to get back with the leaders. I don't think he's going to get caught by Mitchell Peake, who now leads the group for 5th ahead of Ray Lombardi. Michael Coates was up in 5th, and he's dropped back these last couple of laps. They get past Orlando Herald. He used to always be a white car. Seeing the purple one, it confuses me. My brain.
It's good purple, though.
It's very
royal, as far as purples go. Yeah, I like it.
It says Regal. So how about everyone in the top 16 outright is in a battle?
Yeah. I've been kind of bouncing back and forth through them. I'm watching Michael Coates chasing Ray Lombardi for what is 6th place. Seeing all kinds of action, though, wherever we go. Mitchell Peaks actually just jumped it off the inside curb ahead of them and kind of had a big drift through there. And he's pushing for everything he's got. And the leaders are about to go through Sunset again.
They are. It's almost 11 p.m. In the session. So I guess in Miami things are only just kicking off. But here it's quite late in the evening. So they start 2 laps to go. There is 3 minutes left on the clock. And they're doing 2-minute 25 laps. So we get 2 more.
How many people are ready for that, I wonder?
You'd hope most. We are maybe going to find out, though. Hibbert leading from Coimbra and Coates.
Eugenio Polici is parked on the track again, facing the wrong way. I think he's just towed out. I was worried he was going to become a hazard for these guys.
Ronnie Coates is starting to get a little bit nervous. He knows that Mike Dam is catching them, and he knows that he's back in 3rd, a little bit away from being able to challenge for the lead here. So he might be thinking, no, I got to get past Coimbra on this lap, then I'm in 2nd, and I think I can get past Hibbert on the final lap to take the win. If you're starting from this point deep in the race to chart your path to victory, you think I might not be able to get from 3rd to the lead on the final lap.
Yeah, Coimbra's not going to make it easy on him, though. He really charges the corner and gets real close to Camden. And a solid couple of car lengths between all of them.
It's not like racing the Daytona 500 where you think if I start the final lap back in 6th and I've got someone to work with me and give me a good push, we can go maybe round the outside, take whatever lane opens up, go through to the lead. No, I think it's going to be a bit tougher than that in MX-5s. At Sebring, Camden Hibbert still holding leading position out front. Coimbra in 2nd, Ronnie Coates there in 3rd. Dan needs 2 more tenths to get back into the slipstream to atone for the mistake that he made at this section of the track, getting too aggressive across the blue curbs, deemed as having cut the course. This is his view from back and forth at the leaders. Often at this point in the race, you'd expect the race leader to start getting across to the right-hand side of the track to defend the inside of Sunset Bend, but no such thing happens from Camden Hibbett, and they fan out, and Rui Coimbra looks for the lead of the race through Sunset. Hibbett out very wide, looking to swing back with momentum as they head towards the white flag to start the final lap, and it almost works for him too. They're side by side for the race lead. 30 seconds left on the clock, white flag waving. Camden Hibbett gets back ahead before the start-finish line, but Coimbra still holds the inside to turn number 1. Ronnie Coates watches on. Coimbra dives to the inside of 1 and then almost begins to box out Camden Hibbett, who can't go around the outside of him. Mike Dam's back in it, a 4-way battle on the final lap for the Pro Class lead.
Things are pretty settled back in open class. Lee Martin's got a healthy lead as they come to the line this time, but we'll see how that pans out.
Might end up calling him Lead Martin. Yes, you're right. He's got 11 seconds on Josh Olsen, second place. Andy Kosick, third at the moment there. This is the outright race lead. Rui Coimbra on the regular race line. Camden Hibbett down the inside, if only to defend and box out Ronnie Coates. Mike Dam back in fourth. Always plenty of car speed from the Canadian.
Yeah, they're 4 deep.
Sometimes challenging late in a race to actually stay flat out through this S's section as you approach Tower Bend.
Rui Coimbra holding on for dear life, though.
Gotta hook that little ditch just right through Tower Bend. Carry your speed down here. Someone can get alongside, try to outbrake you. Camden Hibbett with a run. Coimbra goes middle of the road, back to the racing line. He's got Hibbett right at his rear bumper. Through this section here, when you're the second, third, fourth car in the train, you've got to be so careful to stay between the yellow lines. You can cut some of the white lines, but not the yellow lines. So Rui Coimbra leads them onto the back straight. So much pressure on him as the slipstream kicks in. Second, third, fourth, all close in. Coimbra goes to the middle of the road. He goes a little further across to driver's right to try to stop Camden Hibbett getting down the inside of him at Sunset. Hibbett then comes back across the racing line, looking to swing in a Sunset Bend with speed. Doesn't quite get the ride of the bumps right to get the car to rotate. The two of them touch, and Rui Coimbra spins around, shooting through the gap. Ronnie Coates gets to the race lead ahead of Camden Hibbett. Coates is going to take the win from Camden Hibbett, from Mike Dam. Rui Coimbra mayhaps robbed at the last opportunity. A couple other cars shoot past him as well. Mitchell Peacock into fourth, Ray Lombardi fifth, Michael Coates into sixth before Rui Coimbra can limp to the line in seventh.
Josh Soto's going to cross the line after a bunch of last few lap action with Tim and Bramley. Soto was barely holding on there towards the end. Trevor Roy comes to the line, and Odyssey Adams and Sean Hayes make contact through Sunset Bend last time through. Odyssey's facing the wrong way, trying to get it pointed the right way as Lee Martin sweeps by, taking away what will now be 12th place for the open class win. Josh Olsen comes through Sunset Bend in 14th overall, holding off the likes of Brian Schabowski in the pro class. Josh finishing second in open, and third place Andy Kosick coming to the line in that minty fresh car. Minty fresh car? Yeah.
Yep. Maximum amount of mint.
Mario Norris drifting down the straightaway.
The legal maximum FDA limits on how minty something can be. That is most mint.
Zeus Dalston narrowly missing the podium, followed by Paulo Coimbra, and my dog wants to be on the broadcast.
Do you know how good it is when you actually don't know how it's going to play out? Oh, that was good. I mean, exciting finish, but a very, very tough one for some of the not a team guys. As I guess for Odyssey Adams, he was almost a delayed little replay on what befell Rui Coimbra. The different lines through Sunset Bend converging in some contact that cost him a chance at the win.
Jordy Fike and Ian Giebler crossing the line now.
So this isn't right, is it? That's the qualifying order again.
Yeah, I don't think the sim likes that there's still guys circulating out on track. So we'll maybe have to go off of our timing screens to give you the order. Do you want to do the rundown, or shall I?
I've got it. Ronnie Coates from Camden Hibbett, Mike Dam, Mitchell Peak, Ray Lombardi, Michael Coates, Rui Coimbra, Joshua Soto, Timon Bramley, Trevor Roy, all pro drivers in the top 10. Sean Hayes, 11th. Lee Martin, open class winner in the 12th outright. Odyssey Adams Jr. coming through the line in 13th after another driver with some contact in the final corner, Sunset Bend on the final lap. Josh Olsen, second in open class, and then Brian Chabelsky, Andy Kosick, third in open class, Mario Norris, Zeus Dalston, Paulo Coimbra, David Starb, Charles Vaccaro, Geordie Fike, Tom Sanders, and Ian Giebler was the last car on the lead lap, which was 19 laps completed by your race leader in 45 minutes. Jose Gonzalez might have run out. He might have run out of fuel or something. He ended up a lap down on the final lap there. Orlando Herald we saw go a lap down. Eugenio Polici 3 laps back. 4 laps back, Greg Mack. 6 laps back, Andrew Gilliland. And only 2 laps completed in this race, Tom Ayton. Simon Foweather, no laps completed. And Ethan Stanley, Joel Singleton, and David Tamira did not start the race.
So fun times out at Sebring, and always good to make sure that we've got the full documentary copy of the season ready for the inevitable future documentaries about the series. I'm not seeing any of the winners having jumped into the
You ready?
The time machine with us. Oh, there's one.
Open class winner Lee Martin joins us. This is a weird one for us, maybe a weird one for you. How good's your memory of about a week and a half ago, Lee?
Enough to remember being terrified on lap 1. That was a hell of a way to start the race.
And you take that open class win. Our graphics get very, very confused by the replay, but you were definitely open class winner. Was the fuel a little on the short side? I saw a lot of guys, I guess, try to pit a little earlier than we normally would have expected.
Yeah, this was a recurring trend for me, is taking about an extra gallon of gas. I haven't figured that out yet. And on this one, I actually thought I was going to run out. So I was doing my best to just tail people draft and try to make it to the end. And luckily it worked out.
And a good little margin as well. I think as open class drivers, if you can hitch your wagon to some quick pro class guys, that's a great strategy.
Yeah, Odyssey was kind of my savior in this run. After all the chaos at the beginning, we were able to close up to him. I think he might have had some damage because there's no way I should have been fast enough to catch him. And he was cool enough to let me draft him. And even when I got by him, he just stayed with me, bumped me a little bit, made me a little more competitive. So I think I owe this one to him.
Lee, what's your spirit animal?
Well, it isn't anything fast, I'll tell you that.
Little iguana. How about a fish?
Maybe a turtle, I think.
That's great. Congratulations on the open class win of a week and a half ago. And best of luck with the rest of the season. Our next broadcast is going to be Daytona Road Course, so a little more dose of Florida.
Indeed. Thank you guys very much for doing this broadcast. It was a lot of fun watching, and you guys really doing a great job this season. Thank you.
Thank you, Lee. Okay, open class winner Lee Martin departs us, and our pro class winner standing by with Devin Peters.
Ronnie, you've made it through the time machine with us to celebrate a win.
Yeah, thank you. Appreciate it. It's been interesting to watch you guys figure out how to work this tonight.
As you've been going to bed every night for the last week and a half thinking about this victory, have you had any profound thoughts about what it means for your career as a simulated race car driver?
No, not exactly.
In all seriousness, it looked like an interesting one. The pit strategy was a little bit funny out there.
Yeah, you know what, the part of that race, if you just were riding along with me the whole race, it probably would have looked boring as hell. But I drove the crap out of the car the whole race because I ended up getting shuffled back on the first lap or two. It just kept getting hung on the outside of somebody, and 4 or 5 corners in a row, you come out a slow exit, and everybody went by me, and then I had a lot of work to do to get caught back up. And yeah, I think some of the guys took tires, and it was an awfully cold track for that. And I didn't take tires, and came out right back on pace, where I think some guys were really struggling.
Looked like you had pace the whole way through. You closed down that gap in the first stint in a pretty impressive fashion.
Yeah, it was every lap, just trying to run those qualifying laps every single lap, and yeah, I was ticking them off just a little faster than the leader. But it's funny, the draft, you'd think it would really pull you in here, but you get 4 cars in front of you, and they can be second and a half, 1.8 out, and it's just like you're really not pulling on them. They're up there coasting. Rui's telling me he's coasting, and I'm pushing for all I got.
Any experience racing at Sebring in the real world?
No, I haven't even done it that much on the sim, really.
I was just wondering. And the people want to know, what's your spirit animal? For racing.
I don't know. For racing, I don't know. I have no idea. Dog comes to mind, but I don't know what that has to do with racing.
It's chasing down the pack. It showed itself today. Great job out there.
I appreciate it. Hey, good job with doing this tonight. I know it was a little hard for you guys, but you guys kept it interesting. It was fun to watch. So thank you.
Cheers.
Well, there we go. That's something a little different for us. Genuinely, my first time trying to make a live broadcast out of a replay. Some things work, some things don't. But overall, good to then make sure that we're across every minute of action from this season of Spec-5 World Tour. They roll on, and Thursday night we're going to bring you live coverage of round 5 of the Spec-5 World Tour this season from the Daytona Road Course, which is always a treat in these cars. You expect them to bump draft, you expect big packs, you expect to see them 3-4 wide across the line, and whatever position, someone who can get a good bump draft, get a good run, see a lane open up, can come from 6th, 7th, 8th in the pack out of the bus stop to win and take the checkered flag first on the tri-oval at Daytona. It's always chaos, but of a very, very exciting kind. So I hope you'll join us for our live broadcast of that, and congratulate our winners from last week at Sebring. David Haynes with Devin Peters, Michael Derby once again. Make sure you subscribe to HJBC, where we'll be bringing you all of this season of Spec-5 World Tour. See you at Daytona.